This is State Farm agent Jason Hardy coming to you today with the El Dorado Wildcats. Jason Hardy, State Farm Player of the Week. This week, we have Josiah Crosby. Josiah, congratulations for being named Jason Hardy State Farm Player of the Week. I know it's a little bittersweet coming here after the season ends, but tell me, how does it feel for you to be recognized by your coaches as Player of the Week?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank y'all and thank to my coaches for making sure my efforts are being seen. You know, it take a lot, especially when you're on the field against other grown men, basically.
Right.
So to be able to stand out to your coaches against other grown men, it feels really good.
All right. Well said. And speaking of grown men, you're gonna hold your own against grown men. Josiah's not a small guy. Defensive tackle, senior.
Yes, sir.
Finished up your high school career. Tell me, have you had a chance to reflect a little bit on what your career has meant? Maybe your senior year, but all of it a little bit. Have you had an opportunity to do that?
Well, I want to say, I know they tell us this all the time, but it went by faster than I thought it would, for sure. Like 1 minute, I was looking up to seniors in my grade, or seniors in the 12th grade when I was in the 10th. Next minute, I got 2 grades behind me. I know they might not believe it, but it goes by very fast.
No doubt.
Very fast.
Okay. All right. So, no doubt about it.
I really don't think, I know every now and again I'll think about the past, but I don't think I had the time to just recap on everything that's happened.
Yeah. Well, and that'll come later too. But you still got some school ahead of you. You're a senior this year. Coach mentioned that you're the strongest guy on the team.
Oh, for sure.
Tell me how does it feel to have that title and to know that when you're in the weight room, when you're on the field, you know you're the strongest guy out there. How does that feel? I would not know how that felt. So tell me how it feels.
Well, every time I put some weight on the bar, it's a whole crowd around me just making me try to get the weight up. Every time I max out, everybody watching me. It's a whole bunch of people asking me how much I lift every day at school, and I always feel great to tell them that I lift a whole bunch of weight.
All right. Okay. Talk to me a little bit, Coach, about the strongest guy you've got on the team. Tell me about Josiah.
He's the strongest guy on the team. He's not the strongest guy in the weight room.
Oh, okay.
Our strongest guy in the weight room is Coach Carroll. Coach Carroll cannot lift Josiah, but Josiah, we got him on video, 500+ squatter down below parallel. And that's regardless of what you weigh, that's a big squat. You load 500 pounds on your back.
Sounds big to me.
It is, and kind of to the point where, okay, Josiah, that's enough. Let's don't put any more weight on the ball. Maybe get extra rep or something. But as the 2 years I've been here, he's been a pleasure to coach. You just talk to him, very respectful. Does a great job in the classroom. 3-point GPA, fully qualified. To play college football. And I think he'll get a chance. I think he's a college football player, and
certainly looks like one.
Yes, absolutely. He passed the eye test, and I think he still has some. If he chooses to, I think he still has some playing days in front of him.
All right. So talk to me a little bit about that, Josiah. You hear your coach talk to you in pretty glowing terms. It also talks about possibility of a future in football going on. What are your thoughts along those lines?
He's right. I want to play at the next level for sure. I got to prepare myself because they're a lot different than high school kids. But if I want to make it to the level after college, I'm going to have to prepare myself to be a dog on the field, even in college, among other college players.
All right. Coach also mentioned your grade point average, said you're a good student. I love to hear that. I love to hear about good ball players that are also good students. And that is to me, that's a requirement for being able to go to that next level. If you're going to play in college, whether it's a small college, whether it's a big college, it doesn't matter. You got to be able to do your work in the classroom. So talk to me a little bit about that balancing act that you've been able to do while playing sports and keeping a good grade point average.
Well, my mom always told me I'm a student athlete. Student always comes before the athlete, so I got to make sure she holds me accountable for my grades. Make sure that they up at least at 3.0, Make sure college
moms are good
coaches
for
stop.
that.
Yeah, make sure college coaches stay looking at me and don't turn the other way.
All right, that's great to hear. Great to hear that you've got priorities. You've got some goals. Let's talk a little bit about you playing defensive tackle. What are your responsibilities there? 'Cause, I mean, that's an unsung spot. I mean, nobody, you never hear of a defensive tackle getting glory, right? So let's tell everybody a little bit about what those responsibilities are from that defensive tackle spot, and why you might not necessarily always get recognized for that.
Well, I say when a lot of the line positions, like defense or offense, they don't get a lot of spotlight because they ain't the ones scoring the touchdowns,
right?
Turning the ball over. They ain't the ones doing all that. But for defensive tackle especially, I mean, to be able to have to go against two grown men at the same time, 300-pound dudes a lot of the time when we play Ben, that was like 300-pound dudes. It's a lot to handle at once. But I feel like for me, like my contributions to the team was run stopping. So I feel like I did my part very well. But how should I put this? D-line is just, defensive tackle in general is just, you ain't gonna get much credit unless you just a complete game wrecker.
Right.
Like you gotta like average like a good amount of tackles per game to where offense just gotta completely change their game plan for you. I think I did that a couple of times, but
okay, all right. And you're talking about, I heard you reference this a couple of times. You had two guys coming at you. Were you getting double teamed every game?
Pretty much, yes, sir.
All right. Well, I've got to imagine that does a lot for your teammates if they're having to dedicate two guys to you. That leaves somebody unaccounted for, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're taking on blockers. And that's kind of what I imagined from a defensive tackle spot was, you've got to take those blockers on and free up some of your other guys. Coach, talk to me a little bit about Josiah and the job he's done for you at his defensive tackle spot.
Well, Jason, one thing about being a good football player is being durable. Okay. Guys that are at practice every day, guys that are competing in drills every day. I don't know that in 2 years Josiah's missed a practice. If he has, I think the road was flooded one time that he couldn't get to practice.
Okay.
But durable, 2 years of being healthy. And that's such a big part of being a good football player is being durable, and he certainly is. And like I said, he's great student. Like I said, great. As a coach, you love those practice players, the guys that practice like it's a game situation, and that's describes Josiah. Especially his senior year, because there's always a maturation process to go through from sophomore to junior, senior. And he was right on schedule and did a great job for us, and we're certainly going to miss him. But I'm anxious to see where his future leads him.
Absolutely. Josiah, you talked a little bit about being durable. Availability is a talent. Being available, game in, game out, day in, day out. Coach talked about you not missing practice. Availability is a talent. Talk to me about how you make yourself available for your coaches, for your team.
Well, I don't just do it by myself. We got a lot of great trainers at the school led by Miss Savannah. She keep us safe and make sure that nothing that we're doing is too much for our body, so we're ready for game day, so we can compete against other guys. So we got a home playoff game, and we did that because a lot of us were available during every game.
Okay. All right. Took the whole team being available, and some help from the sidelines as well. I know you thanked your coaches as we got started. Tell me a little bit about that and that relationship you've been able to develop. Now you're a senior now, so you've been playing since the sophomore, so you've developed some relationships, I would imagine. Talk to me a little bit about that and what that's meant to you.
Yeah, we had a lot of coaches. They've been here the whole time I've been here, like Coach Johnson.
Yep.
He's been like a second father to me, really. And he'll make sure that I'm doing good in school, take up on my grade every time. He'll teach me new moves that he'll see people do on the internet, like D lineman. He'll make sure that he'll make sure that I'm staying ahead of everything I have in terms of football and school. I'll say that.
All right. And it takes that kind of help. It takes that kind of help. You can go ahead and be ready to accept help like that all your life, because when you've got a support system like that, when you've got somebody that helps you. Yes, you're responsible to do it, but when you've got somebody that's willing to help and you're willing to accept that help, man, that's huge. That's huge. So I love that you've recognized that and saw that for what it was worth and took advantage of it. That's really, really great. Coach Hill, what have you seen him do as far as that goes?
Yeah, you know, Jason, I'm not a big Hillary Clinton fan. But she did make the statement one time, it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
And I agree with that. That's probably the one statement she's made that I ever agree with. But not to get too political, but, you know, Josiah mentioned Coach Johnson. He mentioned their trainers. And it does. And the teachers at school, you know, they will bend over backwards to help a student if the student's trying to help himself.
Right.
And, you know, I know Coach Johnson's done a great job, and, you know, he's – you know, since he's his position coach, you know, Coach Johnson's been here a long time. He's an El Dorado guy, loves being here, loves these kids, and it's amazing. I tell him all the time, I know he's a great coach because it's amazing how many young men come back to see him when they get a chance. And Josiah will be the same way. But, you know, it's you know, again, it's the maturity factor there of Josiah understanding that he didn't do it by himself. He had Coach Johnson. He had other coaches checking on him. He had teachers trying to help him. Savannah trying to keep him healthy. Coach Borowski in the weight room. So it does take a village to raise a child.
100%. And I love hearing this young man talk about the fact that he's had help. So Josiah, the season has unfortunately come to an end. Like I said, this is a little bit of a bittersweet opportunity to be player of the week. However, I've been fortunate to meet you and visit with you, as I have all of the guys throughout the year. So let me get you to leave us with. Tell me a little bit about Josiah off the football field. When you're not playing football, what do you like to do?
I don't do much. I really just watch film, try to watch other players like Dexter Lawrence, you know, good NFL players, or I'll just go home and watch a little bit of TV. I don't try to do too much, create too many problems for myself.
Don't want to create any problems. All right. So when you're watching football, who's your favorite team?
It used to be the Dolphins earlier this year, but because of specific players' choices, I had to switch and I had to go to the Ravens. I like Lamar and Derek. Okay.
All right. Good deal. You watch every week?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. All right. And then you break down what those defensive tackles are doing, don't those defensive linemen? You watch it, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I bet you do. I bet you do. Once again, let me say congratulations to Josiah Crosby, the El Dorado Wildcats, Jason Hardy State Farm Player of the Week. Congratulations on a great season, a great career, and hope to hear more from you down the road.
Thank you.
Well done.